Hi guys, Crad here. In this video I want to talk to you about the Kershaw Dimension. This is a knife that recently debuted at either Blade or Shot. It's from Kershaw's budget line of knives, which means it was made in China. The big deal with this knife is the thick slabs of titanium that is used for the handles. This isn't normally something you see on a budget line knife or any knife in this price range. This has an MSRP of $100, but it comes out to more like $55 to $65 when you're shopping for it online. Now they are just now starting to fill the pre-orders, so a lot of people don't actually have these in hand yet, but they should be getting them soon. Now on the original prototype version that debuted, titanium, the word titanium was engraved on the handle here. I actually kind of liked it, but I guess a lot of people didn't, and Kershaw took that feedback and they removed it from the production version, which tooling wise alone, that probably took some cost away from the knife. Something I would have liked to have seen would be this design that's sort of grooved into the titanium on the front side. I would have liked to have seen that on the back side as well, just because without it the back side looks very plain. You might be wondering, where is the locking mechanism? Well, this is Kershaw's first button lock, which I wasn't entirely familiar with what a button lock was or how it worked until I got the knife and actually was able to take some time to look at that. So this is a speed safe assisted knife. It fires very strongly, which is a good thing. It has a 3-inch 8 CR MOV 13 blade, which is a Chinese steel, but it's supposed to take a pretty decent edge. I want to say it's an equivalent to the Japanese AUS 8. Don't quote me on that. See if you can see it here. There's a little area on this scale here that's milled out for the speed safe. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up. The seams are almost imperceptible. So you can sort of catch a glimpse right there of the light reflecting off of the seam. See where it goes into the back there. So that's pretty neat. It's very well hidden. I don't think increasing the brightness of my light's gonna help that show up on video. Okay. There's the model number, 3810. It has thumb studs. This I don't have an echelon to compare it with, but to me it looks an awful lot like the type of thumb studs that were used on the Kershaw echelon. And it does look like a larger size Torx screwdriver could actually be used on the thumb studs if for some reason you wanted to remove them. They're really not functional thumb studs, and I'll show you why. If you can actually get your thumb in here, which doesn't work too well, but if you can get your thumb in here to start to deploy it. I actually got it fully locked up that time, but normally my thumb sort of gets in the way. It catches on the flipper here and doesn't allow the blade to fully open. But what's really scary to me about all assisted knives is if you try to open them with thumb studs, almost invariably it goes something like this, where I'm still trying to push on the thumb stud, but the blade's already gotten away from me, and then I'm pushing on the edge with my thumb. And I don't like that. But with this knife, it's really meant to be opened with the flipper, so that's not an issue at all. As long as you don't buy this expecting to use the thumb studs, as long as you buy this with the intent of it being a speed safe assisted flipper, I think you'll be pretty happy with it. It is a relatively small knife for me personally, but I know a lot of people like blades around this size, and being 3 inches, I think it's legal most places to carry this lengthwise. It does have sorry, It does have a deep carry pocket clip, which I know most people like. I don't really, personally. The spacing of the screws is identical to the spacing used on the zero tolerance, the Rexford design. I want to say Singularity. What are they calling it? The 0801. I was actually going to do a video on this knife at one point, but YouTube is just flooded with videos on this, so I don't really have anything new to contribute, other than to talk a little bit about Bill Yester's pocket clip, which I think is a really great design. I'll just go ahead and incorporate that into this video. The original pocket clip is essentially the same as this pocket clip here, it's just longer. For some reason they used a sort of a shortened version for the Kershaw Dimension, but it's the same pocket clip. It's a little bit longer, maybe goes down to here, and it's in black. Now the pinch point on it is right about here, so it actually catches the fabric of your pocket and sort of shoves it into the milling for the frame lock, making it very hard to remove from your pocket. Bill Yester, Yester 5 on the USN, designed and built this titanium pocket clip here. It moves the pinch point further forward. It gives a very wide grip area, and to me it just sort of matches the overall design aesthetic a good bit more than the stock pocket clip did. And this pocket clip here would actually fit very well on this knife, so if I wanted a pocket clip that was not deep carry, I would go ahead and pick up another one of these from Bill and throw that onto the Kershaw Dimension. Trying to think if I have anything else to say. It is open construction with 2 spacers. Oh, I know what I can talk about. So the push button lock. When the blade opens, let's see if we can get in here. The lock itself engages. You see it's what the lock is. Let's see. It's kind of hard to tell in this video, but there's a bar here, and the part that's sort of inside of this part of the frame right now is actually a bit thicker. So when the blade comes back, it comes out of the frame a little ways, and then you can see here the thicker part of that bar, it's held in place by the tang of the blade. Now the blade itself, here we can see it here, it extends back here and it's curved down. So here the blade is cut away, sort of in an arc. It goes kind of like that. So the very back part of this blade, right behind the jimping here, sort of starts to curve down. So as that engages, as the bar pushes out, the thicker part extends, and then the blade is held in place by the arc sort of fitting over the thicker part of that push button bar there. It's a little bit worrisome. Now I don't have any experience with this lock type, and I have no way of knowing or saying that it's going to fail or anything along those lines. It might be a pretty well made lock design for all that I know. However, I could see if there were to be a stress fracture in this part of the blade, it wouldn't take a very large portion of steel being sheared off to make this lockup non-existent, and that could be dangerous. When it is fully engaged, there is an almost imperceptible amount of up and down blade play because it's not super tight. It's just an arc of steel that goes over a slightly extended, like it doesn't even go maybe not even halfway across the blade here. the thicker part of this bar here. So that's a little bit concerning. Wish I could make this focus exactly on what I'm talking about. In all, I really do like this knife. The edge is a bit thick, so it's not going to be a slicer unless you sharpen that up or reprofile it yourself. It's not crazy sharp out of box, and even if it was sharp, just the edge geometry itself is very thick. It's certainly the most bang for the buck that I've ever seen in that price range with these thick slabs of titanium. Like I said, I would just prefer if the backside wasn't as plain as it is. In all, it's a really nice knife if you're looking for something pretty upscale for this price range and size range, and you don't mind that it's not made in the U.S., which I'd like for the majority of my knives to be, but I understand when I'm looking at things in this particular price range, they're probably not going to be. I do recommend this knife. This is a really nice design, and it's seeing some pocket time. So thanks for watching.